Well, good morning, everyone. I thought we would just have a little bit of an informal talk today on the Saturday. And it's another end of a week. It seems like the older I get, the quicker the weeks go by. I thought I would share with you a little bit the aftershock of losing 50% of my income. Now this will be the third video, and this will be the ending video of that certain topic. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of the aftershock. I guess that's the only word I could use that would really describe how I felt. I want to just talk a little bit about it, and I think that some people will be able to really relate with me, and maybe some people will relate with me years down the road if they find this video. When I do a video, especially one like that, one that gets shared across YouTube, it's almost impossible for me to share exactly everything in my life for new people that come on my channel. The example would be like this. Have you ever been to the emergency room or into the hospital? And every time a new doctor came in, you had to tell your story all over again. By the end of the day, you've told your story probably at least 10 or 12 times. Hi, I'm Dr. So-and-so. Why are you in here today? What can we help you with? And you go into the whole story of why you're there and what is wrong, and then you think you're done, and a new doctor comes in and says, "Hello, I am a new doctor. I'm so-and-so. What is your story? Why are you here?" And so I tried to explain with people the 50% income loss, and it's really hard to do that unless you followed my life and to a certain degree know a little bit about me. But it really doesn't matter how I lost 50% of my income. It's because it's different for everybody. When people lose their income, a lot of it is because of society. A lot of it has to do with outside influences, like the society that we're living in and the economics of the time. A lot of times it's people's health. If you can't work, you don't get a paycheck. And so all of these things can cause you to have a 50% loss in your income. And in that video, I explained the reasoning why I felt mine was that low. There's all kinds of factors that go into place. My situation really hasn't changed very much, but I changed, and I thought, well, hey, why don't I get on here and tell you a little bit my final thoughts on this subject. I did do a second video, which people really found useful. I said about a month to 6 weeks later, what am I doing different? How has my thinking changed? What have I learned through all of it? And I've learned a lot. Let me tell you, I have learned so much through going through that. The first stage is panic. And the first stage is, oh my word, what am I going to do? That's a natural response, no matter what, when it comes to finance. Maybe you invested in the stock market or your 401k, and all of a sudden the company went bankrupt or things went wrong, and all of a sudden your money was gone. Or maybe you invested it in other things, in other companies, or invested in starting a new business for yourself, and well, didn't work out that good. Maybe you had a job for 20, 30 years. All of a sudden you had poor health. You couldn't work, and they let you go. So there's so much that can play in a role in losing income. So the first thing is panic. That's normal. I don't know of anybody who would be, oh, I lost 50% of my income. I'm happy. I don't need it anyway. Unless you were very rich. I don't think that you would be saying that. Then the second thing is resentment and a little bit of anger. It's almost like a loss. It's like a loss because you're grieving the loss of it. So the second feelings I was feeling was, I can't believe this. Like, why did this happen to me? I mean, what did I do wrong? Why is this happening to me? Why am I not good enough? Why? I could give you hundreds of examples of things that I thought, why this happened and why that happened. And that's the second thing. Then the third thing is grieving, crying, pity. I pitied myself. I was crying. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I realized that all of these thoughts are natural and normal responses, but the ending response was shocking to me. And so I want to tell you about it a little bit and tell you about what the ending response was for me. After the dust settled and I really got to thinking about it, I decided to change my way of thinking. And my way of thinking was, oh, poor old me. And I realized that in life, these things happen. And I realize in life, there's always somebody who is having a harder struggle in life than what I was. And so that is where I started putting my thoughts and putting my motivation. And I realized that I was so hard on myself that these thoughts are normal. It's normal to be panicky and it's normal to be fearful. It's normal to be sad about it. But are you going to wallow in that and allow that to take over your life? And now I realized that it's more blessed to help people than to worrying about myself. And so immediately I did something that didn't come natural to anybody who would be losing their income. I did the opposite. I decided to whatever extra I had, I was going to help someone else. And I did that. I did that in a tangible way by focusing not on my problems, but focusing on how and what can I do to help other people who have problems. And immediately my spirit was at peace. I didn't have the anxiety because I was starting to get the anxiety at night. Now, I didn't have anxiety over the bills. I just had anxiety over the what ifs and anxiety over, what will I do? How will I cope with this long term? And I realized that I did some really prudent things when life was really good. And I want to tell you about that. I'm sitting in my pantry. And the last year I was working in my pantry, I was squirreling up away things in case things would get bad. You see, back in 2007, I had a traumatic experience. I had to move twice in 1 year. I downsized, then downsized again, and we sold all of our assets, just about anything that was worth any money. And that's part of my life. It's part of my story. And that's a story I can't really say every single video, but it's a story I highlighted in iCards above me. I highlighted at the end of my videos. That is the crutch of my story and of my life and how I became here on YouTube. And so I was starting to have flashbacks of that. But you see, I don't live that life anymore, but yet the flashbacks were there. And I started really reminiscing. A lot of people who lived in the Depression, when they came out of the Depression, what did they do? They started hoarding. They hoarded things up because they were afraid of another depression. And I wasn't hoarding when it comes to like hoarding trash and things like that, but I was squirreling away every little bit of food I could because I knew food is usually a top expense. And so here I'm sitting. When I was doing all of this, I wasn't necessarily in need of all of it, but it was food that was salvaged, that was going to be discarded, and I just put myself to work, and I put my thinking into motion. And so it's fitting that I'm sitting here today, here in my pantry, because I realize in times of plenty, you store up for times of need. And so I started realizing, okay, what do you know in life? I said to myself, well, I know how to survive and I know how to live on very little because I needed to. Then I started thinking, you know what? That was my calling. That is my calling. And it was a wake-up call for me because I was starting to take it for granted. Taking it for granted that my income was going to be in the better half of what it has been for me for many years. I stopped thinking about, well, why does so-and-so do so much better? And why do I have to work so much harder than so-and-so? See, all of that was detrimental to my spirit and to my body and to my soul. And it was detrimental to me as a content creator and sharing with all of you my life. It was detrimental because once again, I was putting myself as an example against other people. And I am me. I am not the other person right beside me, or this person, or that person. I am me. And I need to share with whoever wants to listen about living a very content life on very little. And that's one thing I know. That's one thing I show and direct in every single video of mine, whether it's consciously done or not. Living on little that's just my life. Even my name means to reap, and I am a reaper. I will reap. But see, I will reap what I sow. And if I'm sowing discord in my own body and spirit, if I am sowing, comparison to people, that's going to reflect in my videos. And so while the shock wave went through, the end result was miraculous in me because I gained a new perspective of life. You see, we don't ever stop learning about ourselves, and we always make mistakes. We always learn from them, but it is a life lesson. And I realize now that this is my life. This is my calling. And of course, I did a video on that. So what I do now is I focus on not what I don't have anymore, but what do I do have? And as I look around and see all my food, all of my videos are based on low income. Every video on this channel is based on the lessons I have learned. And I'm very thankful that I was pulled out of those deep waters again and just set on a path of a clear, direct goal, and that is to help people that live like me. And it's just been a wonderful experience. If you're new to my channel and you don't know my story, I have a story that's not much different than other people's stories. My story was back in 2007, we were deep in debt. We lived a very comfortable life. And when the housing market crashed, we sold everything to get out of debt. And that's where the homesteading lifestyle became a necessity. Necessity is the mother of all inventions. And so, yes, it was necessity for me to learn how to do these things. And I invented a lot of new ways of doing things. And one of the things I invented was using the rain barrel, and the rain would collect into the watering can, which would filter it, and then it would go into the rain barrel. Those things I invented because I didn't have filters to filter my water. So I came up with, on my own, a way to do that. I didn't see anybody do that. And so it was a necessity, and I created an invention with it. And so lots of people are doing that now. And maybe in my videos, I will create something that you've never thought of before, and you can learn and have a spin-off onto that. And here's my ending thoughts of it. When we focus our life on other people and not focus on ourselves, the pain and the burden that we are facing just seems a whole lot lighter. And by helping that channel in the UK has really just quickened in my heart that I can do a lot of things yet. Even though I don't have the same income, it's not the income that brings success. It's what's in your heart and what you're doing and how you're helping others and what you enjoy in life and the success that you created in non-material things. And so I directed people to another channel. Now, some people would say, I can't believe you did that. When your views were so low, you actually were telling people to go see another channel. Like, that is the opposite of what you would want people to do. You would want people to stay where you are. Don't go nowhere else. Don't go nowhere. But you know what? I realized that when you help other people out, when you do good, you sow what you reap. And I believe that in life that, some people believe in karma. So they believe that, what you do, what you sow, you reap. Basically, it's what you sow, you reap. And I believe that my life turned around in my own life, in my own feelings, when I stopped focusing on me and I focused on other people. And my anxiety went down and I thought, wow, I have worth. I have things that I can do. You know, I can do things for other people. I can help other people. And I can turn all of those insecurities that I work on yet in my life, and I can turn those insecurities and I can make a difference in somebody else's life. Instead of sitting here saying, oh, I don't know why this is happening and that's happening, I realized that I got to get off my soapbox and change it into somebody else and help somebody else, and not focus on my issues and my problems in life. And that has made a world of a difference. I no longer am concerned about the income loss. I'm no longer mourning the income loss. I am absolutely 100% not angry about the income loss. In fact, it's given me a refreshing sense of living. It's just a crazy, crazy feeling that I have. And it's just a wonderful feeling that I have. I have got my life back again because my focus of my life is back. And so I'm just really content. And I'm just really blessed. I'm blessed beyond anything, any materialistic money could ever provide. Stick closer than a brother. And you are the family that I adopted. And I just love it, because family is who you have in your life and who you adopt. And I've adopted all of you into my life. You are my brothers and my sisters. You are my family. And I thank you so much for encouraging me. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.